up, guys, and welcome to yet another tier list video. I'm your host, BC Keen, and today is going to be, of course, another interesting one, because today we will be ranking the top 20 best-selling Nintendo GameCube games. Now, of course, you can probably see I haven't played all of them, because in the haven't played category, we have Animal Crossing, Pikmin, Resident Evil 4, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Adventure DX, Startbox Adventures, and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Thousand Year Door I do want to play so badly, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't rank it, unfortunately. But the rest of these games I have played in some way, so without further ado, let's get to the tier list. Alright, so first up we have Luigi's Mansion, which I played not too long ago. I enjoyed it. I think it's a very solid introduction to Luigi being a main character in a video game. And, it's a very solid experience. However, I will say, upon further reflection, I found the game a little bit annoying at times. And the main reason for that is because, you have to catch, a certain amount of boos to get to the final boss. And a lot of these boos are very annoying because, they will, like, you'll find them in a room, and they'll escape into the hallway or the room next door, and you have to go chase them, and it's pretty annoying. Like, I thought it'd be a 2-part playthrough for me. It was a 3-part because of that, because a lot of the boos I was trying to chase were pretty fucking just miserable to hunt down. But aside from that, again, it is a very solid game. I enjoyed the boss fights. The final boss is really good. The number of ghosts here is pretty cool. All the different ghosts you can suck up, like the one makeup ghost and the baby ghost. So that's cool. It's a very charming game, and I'd probably say it's a B for me personally. I might put it in C by the end of this. I'm still thinking about it, but for right now, I think it's a B game. I think those things I don't like about it, and it has kind of weird pacing here and there. And the soundtrack is good, but not great. Obviously, the hallway theme where you're, like, walking around is iconic. But aside from that, the rest of the music isn't really hitting that hard. So yeah, again, it's a very solid intro to Luigi being a main character in his own video game. I have not played 2 or 3, so I might rank those higher on other tier lists if I get to that point. But as far as the original Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, it's a solid game, so I would say it's a solid B for me. Alright, so now we're ranking all of the GameCube Mario parties. First up being Mario Party 4. I think a lot of people think that this is the best of the GameCube Mario parties, and I can kind of see why, because the minigame list is one of the best ones in my opinion. You got like Book Squirm and I'm trying to remember which ones. I think Pushy Penguins was Mario Party 5. But anyway, 4 is one of the best lists. However, I don't really like the boards in this one, because they all have different themes around them, but design-wise, they're pretty similar. They don't really stand out that much from each other. But yeah, I would say it's a very good Mario Party, but I don't think it's the best GameCube Mario Party. I do think there is one that trumps Mario Party 4 by a landslide, and we'll get to that in just a bit. But as far as Mario Party 4, I would say it's a B. I think it's better than Luigi's Mansion, personally. But I can't quite put it at A. I think if the boards were more creative in their design versus just the theming, then it might be an A. And the minigame list, again, is great, but again, we have to rank every single factor of the game, not just the boards, minigames, character selection, and whatnot, and the music. So with that, I think 4 is a solid B. I just think it needed more diverse board design to really be an A-tier Mario Party, but for right now, I would say it's a solid B+. So Mario Party 5, to me, I would say is the second best GameCube Mario Party, behind either 6 or 7, which you'll find out in just a bit. But yeah, Mario Party 5, I think, is better than 4, definitely in terms of board design. I think the board design is much more diverse and creative. The minigames, I will say, are probably the low point for me personally. They're not bad per se, but it's not the strongest list of really good minigames. I do think 4 has the better, like, list of good minigames, but 5's got some good ones, like Pushy Penguins, for example. That's a classic minigame. Board design is great. The character selection screen is the same, the character selection is the same as Mario Party 4, I believe, so nothing to comment on there. Music is good, I guess, but, yeah, I would say Mario Party 5, to me, is just barely an A. Probably an A-. Again, the big point for me is the board design, because, Mario Party 4 didn't do a whole lot for me when it comes to, like, actually playing on the boards, because the themes were cool, but the boards were not diverse enough in their actual, like, layouts. And then 5, of course, kind of hammered down on that and made each board a lot more diverse. So yeah, an okay minigame list, great board design, good music, good character selection screen, and a very solid A-tier Mario Party. But there is one that I think really does top every other GameCube Mario Party for me. And that would be Mario Party 6. This is, by far, in my opinion, the best of the GameCube Mario Parties. I think a lot of people agree with this, too. I know I'm not alone in this. But Mario Party 6 is phenomenal, and the biggest reason for that is because of one mechanic that is only in this game and nowhere else in any other Mario Party. And that is the day and night cycle. I don't know why they got rid of this, but that is the biggest reason why I enjoyed Mario Party 6 so freaking much. Like, because when it goes from day to night, a lot of things change. Like, certain board elements change. For example, on Clockwork Castle, DK gives you stars during the daytime, but then on nighttime, it swaps to Bowser, and if you hit him instead, then he takes your stars. So, it really does alter the gameplay a lot when it goes from day to night, and it can really affect the progress for a game going on. So, that was really cool. And plus, the minigame list is really good, too. What Goes Up was a lot of fun. I will say I did not play the mic minigames. I don't really own a GameCube mic anywhere, so I can't really test them out. But I hear they're good. I can't really comment on that. But yeah, a solid soundtrack, very good minigame list, great board design, and day-night cycle. I gotta say, Mario Party 6 is like an A to A+ Mario Party. It is the best GameCube Mario Party by far, and it's great. One of my favorite Mario Parties, I would say. Like, if I had to rank every Mario Party I've played so far, I would say Mario Party 2 is my favorite, followed by maybe 6, and then maybe Superstars. I gotta think about that for a bit, but I think Mario Party 6 is definitely up there for my favorite Mario Parties of all time, but is for sure the best GameCube Mario Party, and easy A to A+ tier Mario Party game. So if Mario Party 6 is the best GameCube Mario Party, then what does that say about Mario Party 7? Well, I gotta tell you guys, this is probably my least favorite GameCube Mario Party. It's not a bad game. I don't hate it. I love the whole cruise ship aesthetic that they got going on with the main menu screen. But Mario Party 7, I feel like doesn't... How do I put this? It doesn't really do as much as the other GameCube ones did to really stand out. If that makes sense. But I will say the board designs are pretty good. Has an okay soundtrack. The minigames, I don't memorize a whole lot of them, but I think it's a good list. I will say Pagoda Peak is very underrated. That is probably the best board in the game for me, because it's a point-to-point, and the coin total for the star changes each time someone gets it. So it goes from like 10 to 20 to 30 to 40. So that's a cool mechanic, I guess. But yeah, overall, I think Mario Party 7 is where, I guess... Well, here's the thing. The reason why Mario Party 7, to me, doesn't stand out that much is because the formula for Mario Party was getting kind of stale at that time. I think 6 was good because of the day-night cycle, but because Mario Party 7 didn't really have a mechanic to, like, make itself unique, it just didn't hit as much. But again, not a bad Mario Party. Again, the boards are good, minigames are good. But yeah, it is the worst GameCube one to me, personally. So, honestly, I gotta put it at a C+. I don't think it's a B tier. Like, I cannot put Mario Party 7 in the same league as Mario Party 4 or Luigi's Mansion to me. I think if there was a mechanic that made Mario Party 7 unique in its own right, and just made it more unique to play, then maybe it'd be a B. But for right now, it's got to be a C to C+. It is my least favorite GameCube Mario Party, and it just didn't vibe with me that much. So, yeah, Mario Party 7 is going to be a C tier on this tier list. Alright, so now we leave the realm of Mario Party, and now we get to Mario Sports, with this one being Super Mario Strikers, one of my earliest first-time playthroughs I ever did on my Twitch channel back in the day. And, I gotta say, I do like it a lot, but I wouldn't say I love it quite as much as a lot of classic Mario Sports fans do, because I think a lot of the hardcore Mario Sports fans who owned this game back in the day would rank it a lot higher. But I still, this game is a lot of fun. I think just moving around, getting to bash players for the soccer ball, and the whole, like, you know, kicking, sliding, punching, and just wrecking the field while you're going for the ball is a lot of fun. I will say the one negative for me would probably be the single player stuff, because there's really only a tournament mode, and that's pretty much the game's story mode per se, I would think. So I do kind of wish the single player was a bit more offering. But multiplayer, I haven't played in multiplayer myself, unfortunately, but from what I hear, people have a blast with this, and I can definitely see why. So, to me, Mario Strikers, I'd probably say it's above Luigi's Mansion in B tier, but I don't know if it's quite above Mario Party 4. Because, personally, for me, I prefer Mario Party over Mario Sports. I don't hate Mario Sports, but I haven't played enough of them to really know for sure if I prefer sports over party games. But yeah, it's still a B tier game. It has fantastic gameplay. If you want a classic, unique soccer game where you can beat up other people to get the soccer ball, this game is for you. I have not played Charge yet. I want to in the future, but based on what I played of Mario Strikers on the GameCube, I think it's going to be a solid playthrough once I get to play that game in the future. But as far as OG Mario Strikers, it is a very solid B tier. Great gameplay, good soundtrack, just a fun time overall. So, very solid B tier for me. And now we get to the 3D Mario game that I think gets the most undeserved flack. And that is, of course, Super Mario Sunshine. Gonna throw a hot take out there right now. Most of you probably know this, some of you probably don't. But I prefer Mario Sunshine over Mario 64. I do. I love Mario 64. I have issues with it though. I don't like the movement. The controls are kinda janky for me. I gotta say, Sunshine's a better game for me. I think it has unique identity. See, here's the thing. People think that Mario Sunshine is not unique enough because it just does the beach theme. But every level in Mario Sunshine, or I guess every world, is different. Like, they all do different things to make themselves stand out. Even with the beach theme being the central theme of each world, pretty much. And honestly, okay, this might be another hot take. I gotta think about this for a second, but, I'm not sure if Delfino Plaza is as good of a hub world as 64's Peach's Castle. I think it might be in some respects, and others it's not. I think I might have to compare them both side by side and really make a full-on judgment on that. But Delfino Plaza is a really fun hub world to explore. It has a lot to do, a lot of places to just walk around in, islands that you can go swim to in the distance. The controls, I've heard people say they're not great. I never had issues with them personally, except for one level, and that is, of course, the Pachinko machine. That one has some pretty jank-ass controls. I'm not sure why, but I beat it, and it was hard because the controls were not responsive in that level for some reason. But aside from that, I had no control issues. I thought they were pretty solid, pretty fluid. I didn't find Mario to be like super floaty or janky moving, so yeah, okay, here's what I will say though. The voice acting is kind of cringe in the cutscenes. I appreciate their attempt to do so, but it didn't really land that well. So I think for a first pass it's okay, but if they plan to bring back voice acting in the future, it needs some work, because this was not a great first attempt. It was good though for what it was. But yeah, Mario Sunshine to me is a very solid A tier. And again, I do think it is a better game than Super Mario 64. Hate me all you want. I know it's a hot take. I'm probably not alone in that statement, but I do. I think Mario Sunshine overall, on an overall basis, is a better Mario game than Super Mario 64. That's just my opinion. So, very solid A tier game. Love Mario Sunshine. It deserves more love than it gets, honestly. It deserves more respect. But, yeah, it's a very good A tier for me. So, Metroid Prime. I did not play the original, but I did play the Switch version, Metroid Prime Remastered. So, it's not the exact same game, but it is the same game at its core. Just like different visuals and other control styles and other minor enhancements. So, I am going to count it because it is the same game pretty much. Metroid Prime to me is for sure my most favorite Metroid game. Like, I would say 2D is probably Dread, having played it just recently. But as far as Metroid overall, like counting 2D and 3D, I would say Prime is my favorite. I love Prime so much. Like, a lot of people say this is one of the best shooters, like, best shooters and best, like, or how do you put it? Best first-person shooters ever. Like, combined with adventure, obviously. And I agree. Like, the controls for me were very fluid. I love the environments, love the soundtrack, love the final boss. I love all the boss fights, pretty much. All the boss fights are great. I did struggle a lot with the one area. I forgot what it's called. It's like, it's the mining area with the machines. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's like late in the game, I think. I forgot the names of the worlds, unfortunately, so sorry about that. But the mobs there, or the enemies there, were really hard to deal with. I got reset back there so many times. So that kind of dragged down the pacing for me, because I just couldn't get by there for a while. But yeah, this game's phenomenal. I love it. It has fantastic gameplay, a phenomenal soundtrack. It is the best Metroid game for me currently. I have not played 2 and 3. I will in the future, hopefully. But as far as Metroid Prime 1, fucking love this game. It is phenomenal. So that is an easy S tier for me. One of the best Metroid games. One of the best GameCube games. I didn't play the original, obviously, but I can probably say... I would say if I did play the original, I would rank it the same. Like, because it's the same game, but the Switch version is better for obvious reasons. But Metroid Prime, very, very high S tier. It is a phenomenal Metroid game, and my favorite one so far. Oh boy, we're finally getting to Mario Kart Double Dash. If you guys don't know, I thought for a long time about which Mario Kart to me is better. Well, which one I like better, DS or Double Dash. And I do think DS takes the crown there, but Double Dash is a very, very close second. I get why people don't like this game a whole lot. The controls aren't for everybody. The whole two-driver stuff can be either hit or miss for some people. But the courses are some of the best. I love Dino Jungle. I love Mushroom City. I love Baby Park. It has a very underappreciated Rainbow Road in my opinion. I love Rainbow Road in this game. It's very good. The soundtrack hits, obviously. So yeah, here's the thing. I'm ranking these based on the other games in this list. So I think in the Mario Kart tier list, I put this at an A tier. I think. I might be wrong. But for this GameCube list, honestly, it's going to be an S tier. It's going an S tier. Because again, we're not ranking these based on other Mario games. We're ranking these based on the other GameCube games in this list. And I do think Double Dash stands out a lot more than these other games like Mario Party 4 and Luigi's Mansion and Mario Strikers. Like, it's a phenomenal Mario Kart title. Like, if you grew up with it like I did, you had a blast. Pretty sure. Has a fantastic battle mode as well. Love the battle mode in this one. It's a unique Mario Kart. Like, not many Mario Karts innovate that much in my opinion. Like, I think 8 tried to with the anti-gravity before it kind of lost its luster a little bit. And then 7, of course, had the underwater and the gliding. But Double Dash, the whole two-driver stuff, again, not for everybody, I understand that. But for me, it was a pretty solid mechanic. And, again, the controls were not bad for me. I really enjoyed them. So, yeah, Double Dash has a pretty cool identity, and it's a very solid S tier for me. So I will say right now, I don't think any game here is going to reach D or F tier. I know I put them here for whatever reason, but I don't think these 4 games are anywhere close to D or F, so there you go. But anyway, Pokemon Colosseum. I played this very, very, very recently. I'm pretty sure it's the most recent playthrough I've had on this list. I did not finish it because I could not beat the final boss. But I did play enough to rank it as I'm going to. And I think a lot of people would put it at an A tier. I'm going to put it at a very low B tier for me personally. And here's why. I think the locations are cool. Has a pretty good soundtrack. The whole Cypher or Shadow Pokemon stuff was an okay mechanic. I didn't really vibe with it that much. But my big knock against this game is the animations. And not because they're bad, but because they take way too freaking long. Like, this playthrough kind of dragged a whole lot, and that's the reason why. It's because when a Pokemon gets hit, sometimes the animation, when it, like, recoils, will go on for, like, 6 seconds. It's like, why? Just let me hit it and then go to the next part of the battle. Like, stop watching, like, I don't want to watch frickin' Umbreon recoil for like 6 seconds and then stand back up and then it switches to the next turn. It's like, dude, just keep going. Like, again, the animations are cool. A lot of them are really fun to look at, but they take way too much time. And because of that, the battles can really drag on sometimes. So, that is by far the biggest knock against Pokemon Colosseum for me. But aside from that, it is a very solid Pokemon spin-off. It is nowhere close to Explorers of the Sky as my favorite Pokemon spin-off game. But it is pretty solid overall. Again, I didn't beat it. I didn't like 100%. I didn't get to Ho-Oh or anything. But I think I have played enough of it to know how I feel about it. And I do think it just barely escaped C tier. But it's on the border because those battles for me took way too long. It did drag down the pacing a lot for me. But aside from that, again, great locations, a really good soundtrack. Like that, the song that plays in the Criminal City where you have like the it's like very upbeat and jazzy. Best song of the game. I love that song so much. So yeah, it could be better, but I enjoyed Pokemon Colosseum. It's a very low B tier for me, but yeah, those animations for me just took too long and it dragged down the pacing a lot for me, but it's still a very solid Pokemon spin-off game. I enjoyed it, and I am very excited to check out XE Gale of Darkness. Hopefully it's a better game than this one is. We'll see, but for right now, Colosseum is a very low B tier. So, fun fact for you guys, I owned a GameCube when it first came out. I have it right here, I'm touching it. I owned a lot of good games for it, including Double Dash. I did not own Mario Sunshine when it was first out, and I did not own Smash Bros. Melee. Those are the 2 big ones I did not get to play as a kid. I think my first time playing them was back in 2019 when I found my GameCube after like a long search. So, I don't have nostalgia for Smash Bros. Melee, unfortunately, but however, I can confirm it is abso-freaking-lutely an S tier game. Like, it is, to me, the second best Smash game after Ultimate. I think Ultimate has taken the crown now as the best Smash game after all the DLC has been out. But Smash Bros. Melee, the gameplay, man, it is fast, it is intense, it is upbeat, it is chaotic. Like, it might be too fast for some people. For me, it's perfect. Like, Smash Bros. Wii U and Brawl were very slow in terms of the overall, like, fighting gameplay. This really just, like, dials a notch up a lot, and I love it for that. Has a lot of content. Adventure mode was great. I love the event mode. Getting the trophies was fun. I will say some of the unlocks for the stages and characters were a bit too demanding. Like, the one DK stage where you have to play 15-minute melee as DK is not really the most fun thing to do because, like, you can spam down B with Donkey Kong as a way to, like, easily cheese that, but even that doesn't work all the time because the little CPU guys who attack you can still get through that and fuck you up. So it's not a guaranteed method, but it does work most of the time. So yeah, oh, also, Mewtwo. You have to play, like, 20 hours of matches or, like, 800 matches or something. So have fun getting Mewtwo, because you will be playing the game for a long time. A very long time. Unless you keep your game on overnight and do whatever, then maybe. But aside from that, you'll be playing for a while to get Mewtwo. So, there's that. But yeah, a very great stage selection, great character selection. It had Young Link and Pichu, who didn't return until Ultimate. Yeah, I just think Melee is one of the best Smash games. I think a lot of people would agree with this. I can see why people would put Melee above Ultimate. I think that's justified in a way, but I think Ultimate has more to offer. The DLC especially is what turned Ultimate around as far as being the best Smash game for me personally. Because I did think at the time, Melee did still top Ultimate for me when it first came out. Or, yeah, when Ultimate first came out. But the DLC we got from Ultimate has really put it above Melee. Like, getting Joker and whatnot. But anyway, Smash Bros. Melee is a fantastic game. If you love fast, frenetic fighting games with your friends, this game is for you. Like, I cannot recommend Melee more. I own it physically, too. It's not digital or whatever. I don't emulate it, but I own it physically. But yeah, it was a great purchase. So, yeah, Melee's great. S tier. Moving on. If you have been on my channel for any amount of time, you already know where this game's going. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. One of my favorite Zelda games of all time. This game is so fucking special to me. It's going in S tier. Honestly, above Metroid Prime. I do think Metroid Prime has things that are better than Twilight Princess, but on an overall sense, I gotta put TP at the top. Like, I think TP gets so much hate, and I don't know why. Does the game look the best? No. Does it have the biggest, like, open, full world? No. The dungeons are some of the best, in my opinion. The story with Midna is one of the best companion by far. A very underrated soundtrack, in my opinion. I love the soundtrack here. Love the final boss of Ganondorf with the 4 phases. Love that fight. The boss fights overall are a bit on the easier side, but they're all still pretty fun. I love the Zamp fight too, where you go between previous dungeon locations to fight them. That was a really cool fight. But yeah, I can see why people throw hate towards Twilight Princess, but for me, there are very few things I actually don't like about it. I think the world does look a bit kind of dull, and the graphics aren't the best, even the HD version. But again, like, I don't care for graphics, I care for gameplay and story, and this one has those in spades, in my opinion. I love the gameplay, I love the controls, I love the story, obviously. So, yeah, hate it all you want, but you will not change my mind. Twilight Princess, to me, is one of the best Zelda games. It is the best, wait, what was I gonna say? It's one of the best 3D Zeldas, in my opinion, behind, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. So yeah, you won't change my mind, I'm sorry. I will not say that any differently. Like, I love Twilight Princess, and you should too, but, if you don't, that's fine. But for me, it is an S+ all the way. Alright, so last up we have The Wind Waker. And I'm gonna say right now, I did a playthrough of this at the start of this year, of 2024. And I think doing that playthrough made me realize something. I still love The Wind Waker to death, but I don't know if I quite love it the same amount that I did back in the day. And I think the reason why is because it seems a bit smaller in scale than it actually is. Excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, like, the dungeons are good, but they don't really stand out that much. I did not realize just how... I don't know, I thought the dungeons would be a bit more than they were, but they're not really at the same level as some of the best, like, other dungeons, like, TP's dungeons and Skyward Sword's dungeons. They're just not quite there for me, but they're still good. They're still good. The whole sea sailing is phenomenal, as always. Like, going between islands is a lot of fun. Has a great overall theme, has a great soundtrack overall, in my opinion. Has a phenomenal Ganondorf boss fight. I love that boss fight. The boss fights overall, though, aren't among the best, in my opinion, but they're still a lot of fun. But yeah, I think doing this playthrough recently made me realize that while I still love the Wind Waker, I thought it'd be a bit more than what it was. I thought the dungeons would be a little bit better, and I thought the game would be a little bit longer. It's a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. Like, it's like 20, 25 hours, and most are like 30, 35, maybe 40. But yeah, I think I thought the scale was a lot bigger, but, yeah, I don't know, but, it's still an S tier game. Like, I'm not trying to say I hate it. It's just, I think doing that playthrough made me realize, like, oh, wait, Wind Waker's great, but I thought it'd be a bit bigger than it was. Like, it's a fairly short 3D Zelda for its size, like, 20 hours? It's still a long game, but it's not as long as, like, Twilight Princess, for example. I like longer Zelda games. I like having more adventure to do, like, no, like, you know, without padding and whatever else. But, yeah, I gotta say, like, in terms of GameCube games, I would personally put Wind Waker at the lowest on S tier for me. Personally. Like, I mean that. It is still an S tier game. I love it to death. But compared to these other GameCube games, after that playthrough recently, I can't put it above them. I just can't. I don't know. I think if the scale, like, if there was more to do, besides, like, side quests, obviously, like, those aren't part of the main story, but I think if the main story had a bit more meat to it, then I might rank it higher, but I think it just, I just want there to be more. I wish there was just a little bit more that Wind Waker offered, story-wise, but the lore is great. I love the lore with Ocarina of Time especially. That was a great reveal. But yeah, again, I'm not trying to say I'm disappointed at the game. I'm not saying I hate it. I'm not saying it was, like, you know, I don't love it anymore. I still love this game to death, but I can't put it above Twilight Princess or other 3D Zeldas because of, wanting a bit more meat to the story and overall game. So, yeah, it's still an S tier, phenomenal game. It still looks great to this day. The HD version looks phenomenal to this day. So, yeah, it's a very, very cool adventure. If you love sailing, if you love, the ocean, if you love, the cartoony Zelda look, then this game is for you. So, yeah, Wind Waker, very solid S tier. So yeah, there is my tier list. We had no D's or F's, honestly. I don't think these games are even close to D or F for me. They're all fairly solid games overall, and I think that speaks to the quality of GameCube games. Now, I do think if some of these games I did play, like maybe Star Fox Adventures or the Sonic games, they might be D or F. I don't know. But, from what I've played so far on this list, they're all at least C tier or above, so that's good. So, GameCube's great. But, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what your tier lists are. What games, if you put an S tier, A tier, B tier, yada yada yada. Is my list agreeable, disagreeable? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments, and I will see if I am, either on your good side or bad side, I guess. But, I will see you guys for the next tier list, and until then, bye!